Hey soldiers, Michael Burry, he is the guy that was played by Christian Bale in the movie The Big Short. If you haven't seen The Big Short, check it out. It's all about the 2008 crash and Great Recession, how it started. Great movie, very informative, very entertaining. Michael Burry is saying that we are looking at a greater than 50% crash and additional slowing of the economy. Now, on the flip side, the president and his administration are saying that this is just the start of great things and that we're on the right track. We need to look at what each side is saying. We need to look at the facts, see who's right. And in that way, we will position ourselves to understand how to profit in this situation. If Michael Burry is right, yes, we can profit. If the president is right, we can certainly profit.
So, now that we know the music has stopped, what can we do about it?
Now, first, let's hear from Janet Yellen. She is the Secretary of the Treasury.
Our economy remains resilient. Our unemployment rate stands at 3.6%. Household finances are strong, and industrial output continues to grow.
Now, as you can see, you're going to see a theme develop here. The administration is going to rely heavily on the jobs numbers. Okay, so let's delve into that a bit by first looking at what they're saying when they say, well, jobs are, we're at 3% unemployment, thereabouts. Actually, if you look at the U3 rate, which is but one measure of unemployment coming out of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, then yeah, that you can choose that. But if you look at the broader measure, which also is published by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the U6 rate, we're at 7.1% unemployment. So roughly doubled the figure that is being widely reported. Now, what is the U6 rate? Well, most economists agreed it's the broadest measure of unemployment because you look at the marginally attached and part-time, people who are working part-time for economic reasons, and you look at all unemployed, okay, as a percent of the civilian labor force, plus you look at the marginally attached workers. So you're getting a much clearer picture of who is working in America. And that U6 rate has us at 7.1%. So Janet Yellen is not telling the entire truth. She's not talking about the broadest measure. Okay, so let's move on here and let's hear from the president on some things that he has to say with regard to our economy.
I want to say two things about the GDP report we received this morning. First, it's important to start with what we know before this morning's report. Our job market remains historically strong. Our economy created more than 9 million jobs since I came to office, in no small part because of the people on this stage. Our economy created more than 1 million jobs in the second quarter, the same period as today's GDP report covers. And our unemployment rate is 3.6%, near a record historic low. Secondly, households and businesses, the engines of our economy, continue to move forward.
All right, yet again, he's relying on the jobs numbers, and the president is really swinging for the fences here. This is an out-and-out lie to say that 9 million jobs were created since he took office. First of all, let's take a look at what happened in 2022. The United States of America lost 22 million jobs in 2020, okay, as a result of the shutdowns, okay. So those jobs, according to NPR, have been coming back. They're not new jobs. Back in August of 2021, NPR, National Public Radio, did a report where they said the U.S. has regained almost 3/4 of the 22 million jobs that were lost last year being 2020. So when Biden says that he created 9 million new jobs since he took office, there's no way that we can look at that as a truthful statement. What he's realizing is a return to work for many of the people that were unemployed in 2020 due to, again, the shutdown. So let's dispel that myth that they're trying to perpetuate. Okay, the president also mentioned, you heard him mention business spending. Well, when we look at, and we're looking at government data here, industrial production, manufacturing, it's taken a slight hit over the last few months. So that is slowing down. Net domestic investment from private businesses is down. In fact, it just hit a level right below what it had reached in about 2018. So we had been, shooting up there, recovering off of the 2020 pandemic pretty well in terms of business spending. But in the last few months, again, we see that number taking a dip. So you combine that with the chart we just looked at with regard to industrial production, and business activity is slowing. Okay, it's not just the consumer slowing down, it's business activity slowing as well. All right, the number of people that are holding multiple jobs just to make ends meet, that is up. As, again, you can see from that Federal Reserve data. And we can also see that when you look at the average hourly earnings for all employees, and you compare that to the consumer price index, that inflation rate, inflation is blowing it away. Okay, so people are, there's no surprise why people are working more jobs. It's simple. They cannot keep up with inflation. Inflation is way above the hourly average earnings. So that has put the consumer in a situation where they're having to rely more on consumer credit. And if you look at this chart, you can see consumer credit loans are spiking. People are turning to the credit card in order to fill the gap that they realized between their wages and inflation. And we can see this is a tremendous gap. So I hope that as we're going through this, you're starting to see that what the president is saying and what Janet Yellen are saying, we're looking at the facts, and we're not looking at just anything. We're looking at data from the Fed. So this is the data that they should have, right? You would think. And I'll link to these Federal Reserve sites so that you can pull down this data and manipulate it and look at it yourself. Now, part and parcel of that whole credit spike, running up those credit cards, is real disposable personal income. Disposable income is down, and that makes sense because inflation is way, way up. So people don't have the money to spend on superfluous items as much as they might have, a year ago, 2 years ago. They've got to direct more money toward food, energy, clothing, necessities, housing, that sort of thing. So I think we've done a good enough job here of detailing that what the president is saying is pure politics. He's not being honest with the American public. And you need to understand this because this lends credence to Michael Burry and his prediction that we're going to see some tough times ahead in terms of the market, in terms of the overall economy. These trend lines, I don't think they're going to reverse themselves anytime soon based on the confidence that we all as consumers, and this is a consumer economy, based on the confidence or lack thereof that we have in this administration and in the economy. So what do we do about this? Well, if Michael Burry is correct, and we're looking at 53%, he's calling for a 53% drop in the market. Well, now, you've got to do your due diligence, okay? You've got to meet with your experts, with your CPA, with your retirement planning folks, with your tax attorney, and you've got to figure out based on several factors, including your age, okay? How old are you? Are you nearing retirement? Because if you are, that's going to entail a different strategy than someone who is in their early 30s. Now, generally, you don't want to lock in a loss, so don't panic. Don't sell into a falling market, generally. Now, again, you've got to do your due diligence. Now, if stocks are going to fall by 53% on average, then that simply means that there's a great opportunity to pick up some bargains if you go out there and do your due diligence and figure out some good companies with good fundamentals. Now, you might be saying, well, you just said that, I don't have any money to spend on anything, but food, clothing, and energy. Well, the good news is anybody can afford to purchase stocks these days because we have a thing called fractional investing. And most of the reputable brokerages out there, they allow fractional investing. What is fractional investing? Very simple. Instead of buying a whole share of ABC company at $100, you can buy a fraction of ABC company's share by spending as little as $5, okay? So you can get 5% of a share. Now, the big brokerages like Schwab, Interactive Brokers, they all participate in fractional share purchasing. You have to do your due diligence, find out what brokerage is right for you if you want to endeavor in that, all right? Again, I encourage you to do your due diligence in order to make sure that you're comfortable and confident in the purchases that you're making. Okay, equities, stocks, can certainly help you to maintain the value of your money and beat inflation. Now, let's take a look at the S&P 500, and we will see that the S&P 500 over the past 5 years is up almost 67%. Now, again, we're not traders here. We're long-term investors. We get in, we stay in, we buy quality companies when we're looking at stocks. If you look at inflation, let's go all the way back to 2002. Between 2002 and 2022, cumulative inflation is at 47.89%. But even though that is almost 50%, it still is defeated by our S&P 500. And you know what? If you own a business, a small business, again, we've talked about this ad nauseum. Small businesses can expect return on investment of between 15 and 30%. That's according to the Small Business Administration and Cabbage, the lender, Cabbage, with a K. Anyway, those are things that help you keep the value of your money. You got to be very aggressive about this. This is what Soldiers of Finance is all about. We're taking a guerrilla approach to this because in the year 2022, we cannot afford to be lackadaisical or take our eye off the ball with regard to this money that is ours, that we need to get up every morning, the money to get up every morning and go work all the way around the world for us and create more money. Okay, guys, so we've looked at the facts. We've talked about how you thrive in this situation. Your own business, if you've already got your business established and you're thinking about investing, maybe you should look deeply into your business and figure out how to invest in that in order to expand it, to insulate it from the coming economic downturn. Are there any products or services that are complementary that you should be offering as kind of a one-stop shop? Are there any situations where after you have served your client, they are naturally set up to purchase something else? And could you offer that in order to keep that money? I'll give you the perfect example. 2 examples. Anytime you go onto Amazon.com and buy anything, they have the suggested, folk who bought this will oftentimes need that. And then I've seen that many times and I say, yeah, you know what? They're right. I do need that. And so I buy that. Okay. That's more revenue for Amazon. They've captured me while I'm there. I'm in their ecosphere. Now, another example is what we do. We lead off from real estate. Now, we know that when people purchase or sell a home, they're going to have other financial needs. Okay, let me just give you one in particular. You purchase a home and you got 2.5 kids. You're going to be really concerned about what if the unfortunate occurs and I need, to pay for this home if my spouse passes away or breadwinner passes away or what have you. Well, they're primed for a conversation at least about life insurance. All right. So look for those opportunities that you may have in your industry, in your business, to offer some complementary product. Okay, soldiers, the Fed just raised interest rates. This video is going to walk you through how to thrive that situation, how to build wealth in a rising interest rate environment. We're not scared. We're not frightened of any of these things that are going on out here today. This video is going to arm you with information you need to build wealth even in a rising interest rate environment. I'll talk to you soon.